The clip has surfaced from Joe Rogan's podcast where his guest goes into detail on his pornography addiction.
I went down some dark alleys. The
darkest
tease, brother.
alley.
The tease. It's a silent epidemic, dude.
And Joe's response actually very much surprised me.
Stepmom type,
Bro.
where you got like a 45-year-old lady. Oh, my neck hurts. Could you give me a massage?
The coolest shit possible.
So as someone who escaped an 8-year addiction to pornography, I'm going to be breaking down this video and delivering a lot of nuance and advice for anyone struggling, as well as showing how what they're speaking about, despite how they act, isn't just a laughing matter.
Dude, I haven't watched since August.
That's not that long.
That's pretty fucking long, dude. You do it, dude.
So right off the bat, it's 3 comedians. They're going to make it lighthearted. They're going to have laughs. They're going to joke around. But as we continue watching this clip, we can see how serious what Matt is trying to get to is.
That's normal.
Yeah. I was having dreams about it.
You have dreams about porn?
Yeah, when I first stopped, dude, I was like having dreams about porn. Dude, it was hard. That was tough for me to stop doing.
Porn took root in his subconscious because that is what's still active when you're sleeping. Your conscious mind is asleep, you're unconscious, but the subconscious is very awake and active.
Yeah, but also it's not bad. Once you stop it, you're like, oh yeah, I don't need it. I don't need to.
Sounds
do
like
that.
your guy needs it.
I think it does.
Brother.
He keeps talking to me about this, and every time I'm like, who cares?
It's a mental challenge,
Like, I
dude.
genuinely don't think about it or care about it. I
But
live
some
with,
dudes get addicted to
yeah, but I
it.
live with my girlfriend. I don't watch porn when we're together. I was home the last 2 weeks. I didn't whack off
I've
once
been
to
known to
porn.
slink off, dude.
As soon as I got to this hotel in Austin,
Yeah.
I was. It was time. You forget how good porn is, dude. You look at it, you're like, yo.
So hearing Rogan speak the way he is on this podcast is actually quite interesting because he's had experts such as Andrew Huberman on his podcast. He's a very intelligent guy. He's very much into self-development and even biohacking and mindset and all of those things. But on the other hand, if you're not Gen Z, you come from a different era where when you were a kid, you get it from magazines. So during your developmental years, it's extremely rare to get a hold of pornographic material. And when you do, it's a still image on a piece of paper. One thing I really don't like that Rogan said is that some people get addicted. This is what a lot of people say about porn use is that, well, if you have an addictive personality, the thing about porn is that it is inherently addictive. It does not matter the personality type of the person who gets into it. It is addictive regardless of the type of man you are genetically. So Joe and Shane have kind of isolated Matt because Matt is a more typical story of a daily user, a true addict, and as he's going to reveal soon, it was getting progressively worse in the content he was consuming. Joe and Shane have the perspective of they're not truly dopamine dependent on it, but what they're failing to recognize is that the addiction that Matt's describing, that he's so joyful and expressively wanting to share to the world that he's escaped, could happen to anyone, including guys like them.
What is she? She got stuck.
She's stuck in the dryer.
That shit rules. You forget,
How many
dude.
girls get stuck under the
Porn
bed
rules.
looking for an earring?
Dude, it's not a moral grandstand. It's just I want to build my willpower. My willpower is weak.
No, it's not,
It's
dude.
weak, dude.
You got
It's
nice
weak.
So let me preface this by saying I really like Shane Giilis. I really like his stand-up routines, but that comment that, oh, whoa, multiple gangbang, she's stuck, MILF, mommy, oh my gosh, porn rules, man, is the most ultra coomer thing you could say. It's like if an alcoholic was conversating with you about how they finally escaped alcoholism and you were to tell them, oh man, but Hennessy, Smirnoff, Grey Goose. But that's not a critique of Shane or Joe's character. It just shows that they don't understand Matt's perspective. And then Matt, who is on the defensive right now, says, oh, well, it also helps me raise my willpower, which is true. It builds the self-trust because he said he was going to quit and stuck to it. It's reprogramming his subconscious, which was brainwashed by porn use. And overall, this is going to drastically raise his self-image the longer he sticks to it, the more he is a man of his word.
He's discussed what type of porn he's into.
What kind?
I was just into everything, brother. I went down some dark alleys.
What's the darkest?
The
Tease,
darkest
brother.
alley.
The tease.
The tease.
Tease?
The tease, brother.
The fucking T-100s.
T1000s? What's that? What are you talking about?
Tease.
What's the Terminator T-1000?
Yeah.
He ran into some T-1000s.
The boys and the girls. When the boys become girls.
When the boys become girls, and
Oh, the tease. Trans.
the boys, he liked the tease.
That could be an issue.
Joe, I'll tell you it is.
So first of all, we have to acknowledge Matt's massive gargantuan gonads as he says something that 99% of guys would be so ashamed and Batman could not get that shit out of him. What he's describing as things that get his blood flowing. What he means and doesn't realize it is what gets the dopamine releasing. By the way, if you want to learn how to turn dopamine from the catalyst to your bad habits and addictions into a powerful force and driver to productivity, to success. Then after this video, you can check out my completely free 30-minute dopamine guide in the description. So I'm whipping out the iPad to illustrate what's going on here. What he's describing isn't actually that foreign of a thing. It's actually the funnel of pornography, because how dopamine works is you get a release and then you might get another release from the same thing, but it's not quite as much. And it continuously goes down because dopamine needs novelty. That is why it is so compelling when you're on those sites to open 15 different browsers and watch all these different videos with all these different girls in different scenarios, because each one is novel to the brain. You know, you start off with like, you know, maybe a music video, some like bikini girls, you know, you're Google imaging some titties, you're seeing some static images of naked women. And then maybe you go a little further, you look at some softcore stuff. And then what I would call normie porn, you know, you go on the site and it's the stepmom, it's the girl trapped in the laundry machine. Because it's fake, because it's acting, loading your brain with very super normal and unrealistic, because it's not real, stimuli. But then eventually you want to mix it up. So maybe you go into something more extreme or amateur. When you see something that's a little shocking, even if it's not a good shock, it could be disgust, it could be horror. Your subconscious, because it sees all this dopamine is getting released and this shocking emotion was just released, clump them together and store it in your subconscious. And then maybe, you know, you're watching a little too much anime, so you go over to the animated, where all of a sudden all the restrictions of reality are removed. And this is the part of the funnel where it starts to differentiate for people, because your interests, your fetishes that are developed from the addiction can skew in so many different directions. And then you do some other stuff, and all of a sudden you're where Matt was watching the teas. And I know that this may seem funny, and I know that for a lot of people watching this, you're in a very early stage, or you've stuck to very simple things and you don't think it's harming you in any way, shape, or form. I can assure you that this is the reality for so many men. I saw what Matt is describing happen firsthand with other people, because back then I wanted to find more authentic content. I was looking more on forums, you know, like the Reddit and I would see on these threads a pipeline of guys who maybe they'd start with some vanilla stuff, and maybe they're just trying to find certain interests, like, oh, the e-girls or blonde girls or whatever. And then things would get a little weird, and all of a sudden you're seeing threads of like, post the girl you wish you were. And then it goes further. You see like the animated stuff, all the other weird stuff, really weird fetishes. And then you see just T100s. And to pretend like these are all people who were set with these interests before they even touched provocative material is completely asinine and moronic. No.
And then he was like, give it a shot. So I was like, I'm open-minded. Well, I was just like, ew. Dude, I turned it off immediately. I can't believe how
I have a strong imagination.
That's disgusting.
I have a strong imagination.
But from Shane's perspective, it's because he jumped from very high in the funnel to close to the bottom of the funnel, compared to Matt, who walked every single step of the way through what I assume is years of addiction.
I truly believe so. And dude, I actually know, if you read the book, what is it, fucking A Billion Wicked Lies, A Billion Wicked Thoughts? Yeah. Where they crunch the fucking metadata from the internet, and it's like, it's doing numbers, dude.
Someone's crunching the metadata
on all, dude. Well, yeah, what's fucked up is the porn.
That sounds like one of those Pfizer studies. They're trying to find the right result.
We're crunching it. Matt, stop acting serious right now.
So Joe and Shane are still just busting Matt's balls, and Matt's being a good sport about it. But he is being honest. Like, there is tons of literature and data now that shows the excessive amounts of pornography use. There's tons of evidence that shows the human trafficking involved, tons of evidence that shows that it leads to other problems and mental illnesses with men and people in general. And no hate to Joe and Shane, they're comedians. This is kind of a funny matter to speak about, but I really feel for Matt as I watch this clip.
Bruh, how nice would it be to get back to the hotel and just tee
Yeah, I'm cool on that.
Yeah, no shit. That's what it does. They look at it and go, whoa.
You could just go to like a karma-free, like stepmom type, where you got like a 45-year-old lady. She's banging a 20-year-old college student. You know, the college student's in town. Dad goes to work. Oh, my neck hurts. Could you give me a massage?
The coolest shit possible.
The 20-year-old kid doesn't want to do it. Like, it's kind of f***ed up. My dad would be upset.
Okay, so Joe do be on the hub like that. You can tell just how he described the premise of hundreds of videos. So there you have it. I went into the dopamine side of this epidemic. I have the dopamine guide in the description. But if you want to learn more about how dopamine isn't everything, there's a huge side of how porn has brainwashed us. And what keeps you addicted, even if you try to quit, isn't just the dopamine, but the subconscious rewiring that we have gone under. If you want to check that out, learn more about it, you can click this video right here. And if you're new, because this video could pop off or it could flop, it's my first ever reaction video, consider subscribing. I post pretty nuanced and in-depth self-improvement stuff, and I'm epic and better than all the other YouTubers. So, yeah.